Donald Trump. Actually, no, this video ain't gonna be about him, but it's gonna be about how presidents affect the stock market. Okay, there's a certain pattern that happens. There's a certain pattern that's happened since the beginning of stock market time, in general, more often than not, that is. Okay, so we got Donald Trump in office. If you recall, if you were paying attention to the stock market, you may remember when Donald Trump got elected, the stock market took off, started making new all-time highs. Donald Trump gets on Twitter bragging about it, record highs in the stock market like it's never been done before. Like the stock market been making new highs for eternity. You ain't doing nothing new, my brother. But anyway, takes off. Why? And is this going to continue? So, if we take a look at history, this is what happens. Almost every time a Democrat is elected, the stock market responds negatively. It goes down for like the first year, or I'll say it performs less than average. It may not go down, but it'll be flat or go down and not go up as much for like the first year or so. Then after a while, it like outperforms. The stock market does great, makes new highs and all of that. And typically what happens when a Republican is elected is the opposite. Stock market goes up pretty fast for like the first year and some change or whatnot. Then after a while, it starts to slow up, maybe even come back down. All right? The reason for this is when you think of a Republican, you automatically think business, money, lower business taxes, rich get richer, poor get poorer. And the stock market is all about getting rich. So business is going to be good. They're not going to have to pay as much taxes. And, business, big money, capitalism, right? And like I taught you before, what drives stock prices is either exceeding or not meeting expectations. When a Republican is elected, you expect this president to do what is best for businesses, and you're gonna have above average high expectations of that, making it very easy for these expectations to not be met. And more often than not, these expectations are not met. So after being patient with this president for like the first year or so, you start to lose patience and you take your money with it. They start selling their stock. Some people may start shorting the stock. Stock market tends to go down, or at least not go up as much or as fast as it was before. As opposed to when a Democrat is elected, usually what comes to mind is socialism and high taxes on the business, tax the rich to give money back to the poor, and businesses ain't gonna do as well because of all these high taxes and all of that type of shit. Then after a while, so the expectations is low. You expect this Democrat to run business to the ground. After a while, you start to realize, well, things ain't that bad. Not as bad as I thought it was. Business is actually doing pretty decent. And then that is reflected in the stock market. People start pouring the money in, and boom, stock market goes up. That's been the case since I've been alive. That's been the case. All right. Bill Clinton. I don't remember how the stock market reacted off the top of my mind when he got elected, but I bet you it wasn't that good. But what I do remember is the 90s being like one of the best bull runs of all time. Then we get George Bush in office. Things are going well at first, and then we had one of the biggest stock market crashes of all time with the dot-com bubble. Then he gets elected again, stock market does good, and then we had another stock market crash, another one of the biggest stock market crashes of all time, biggest stock market crashes in my lifetime, 2 of them. Nigga had 2 stock market crashes, 2 of them, 2 monumental ones. George W. Bush, my lord. So, then after that, we get who? Barack Obama. Markets are still down. Then from 2009 and beyond, stock market just just excels like never before when the Democrat Barack Obama got in office. Because after a while they realized, the nigga ain't that bad. The business does good. Donald Trump gets elected 8 years later, after Barack does. Oh, Republican. Then on top of that, this is a businessman. Donald Trump knows his business, even though he didn't bankrupt every business he ever started. But hey, he knows his business. As a Republican, stock market just shoots to the top. New record all-time highs. You know, Donald Trump is bragging about it, tweeting, Twitter fingers like a motherfucker. So now it's been almost a year. It is, at the time of me recording this, it is September 29th, 2017. It'll be a full year in November as far as him being elected, and then by January since he's been a full president. I'm interested to see how the stock market is going to respond after a while, when maybe perhaps them corporate tax cuts he was been promising maybe don't go as planned, and all these other business propositions he had, and repatriation. I think I said it right. Maybe these things don't go as planned, and I wonder how that's going to be reflected in the stock market, because clearly there's high expectations for the orange man, for the Donald. So I'm just wondering. And then on top of that, this is the main thing. This is never wrong when it's the Simpsons. You seen how watch? They made a prediction that Trump was gonna fuck the economy up. All right, now I'm not saying all of that, but I'm willing to bet that the stock market is not gonna perform as well after a while, when all these things don't go through as smoothly as people perhaps thought it would. And then when you think to my seasonality report, things been a little backwards. Like this summer, this third quarter, I told you the third quarter is usually not good. We actually had a good third quarter for the third year in a row. That's kind of an anomaly in recent times. After a while, because like 50, 60 years ago, it was like reverse. So now it could be trending to where it's about to be reversed again, like it was 50, 60 years ago. Or it could be just a sign that just something abnormal is about to happen, So, fourth quarter's up next. Then after that is the first quarter. And who knows how that's going to play out. But history shows when it's a Republican in office and all those vainglorious business ideas and plans that they had for capitalism doesn't necessarily work out as planned, markets tend to respond negatively. So keep that in mind. As much as I promote buying into the stock market, manage your expectations, perhaps buy some insurance, perhaps get in the cash as soon as you can at the first crack you see, because we never could really pinpoint and see these things coming precisely. Even the ones who do, they just got lucky that time when they said it, because they can never do it more than once. At least not publicly. So keep that in mind, okay? Who knows? We might get the third biggest stock market crash we've ever seen. But people have been calling for a stock market crash forever. And the fact that happens is an indication that it probably won't happen, because when it happens, nobody ever sees it coming. But I do expect, at the very least, some underperformance from like this point on. So stay tuned, pay attention to that. Check you out on the next one.